States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Gould, Balich,
Here.
Harris, Moran, Parker, Rice,
Here.
Jumanello,
Here.
Wilhelming is absent, Mayor,
Here.
and we also have Democratic Caucus Chair Herb Brooks.
All right.
No, we don't have.
Yeah, we do. We got Jim in there when we
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, now I've got five. I got five, you make a four.
He makes it.
Yeah, he makes a
We're
four.
good.
And then here comes.
Okay. Let me bring in my meeting portal here. Get the agenda up and moving.
You want the minutes approved?
I do.
Second.
Discussion. And that was for November 17th.
Wait,
No, that was for March.
March
5.
5th.
you're gonna do them all?
I do them all at one time.
No.
Oh, there. Okay, you know what? I'm looking. I had self-covered here. Okay, so Ad hoc Abatement Policy Committee, March 5th. Moved, seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes for November 17th.
Move.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Minutes for January 19th.
Second.
I'm going to give the second to Beth Rice, just because I want to see her in the minutes.
All right. You're so good at that. Just keep it.
It's quick. Just trying to wake you up, Beth, over there. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Okay, old business, CED discussion. I had an opportunity to have breakfast with John Bruling the other day, and we talked about the need to have that group involved with this a lot more than just the discussion on abatements. And Don and I had also had a meeting with some folks at up in DuPage County and talked about some of their economic development. We actually went backwards from them in a good way. Our CED had been established before we as a county started to really take on this role with our board. They, on the other hand, had a board that then created a CED. And so, but there was a lot of different studies that they did, I think, that could be helpful to us. I think John's done a lot of work and studies. I think one of the challenges that this county brings to the table is the size, magnitude, and diversity of the county. We have 810 square miles. We go from rural to urban, and we go from here to Indiana and up north in the neighborhood. And so we got a huge demographic situation here. And so we felt that as we're going to have John and his group come in our next meeting and do a presentation to us, one, to kind of establish where they are and what they've been doing, let us get some feedback in here, and then start to take a look at really what we can do to help expand this discussion and the use of all the different services for businesses throughout the county. And because we are all involved in different corners of the county and represent different quarters, that may help in expanding the reach of both the CED and the county board ability to go in and start that network process. So that's my CED discussion this morning. I want to kind of keep this thing moving. If anybody has any questions, we do have a couple minutes. Any thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up something at this meeting.
Yes.
One of the goals of this is to bring business to Will County and jobs. When business comes, you get jobs.
Right.
Well, one of the things, well, there's a lot of things that inhibit businesses from coming, and as a county, we have an opportunity to address some of it. When a business looks to come here, I was called by the city of Lockport, just to give you an example, and they said build a home in this one section of Lockport. The tax abatement, the money that they got to pay for impact fees, 20 grand per house. Now,
That's what the city of Lockport is charging them?
with all the, no, with all the
With
districts.
all the districts coming in.
But I'm just where I'm going at. So now, if it costs 20 grand per house, what does it cost for a business? It's probably more. But let's move to the next step. Each one of these businesses, before they come, they look at, what are the rules here? Well, in Will County, we might say we're not as regulated as Chicago. But if you look at a business standpoint, they'll say, well, if we come here, we have to go along with all these rules that are a little bit too excessive for us, so we're not going to go here. We're going to go to Kankakee or Grundy or Indiana or whatever. So I think what we have to do is look at what regulations we have that we can scale back some. Because a long time ago, I was on that committee for the 2012 building codes, and it was just, they wouldn't let me go into what I wanted to talk about on that committee, you know, and I kept pushing it, but they would not allow it. But it's like with businesses, if they have to go out and get special lights, they're like, well, I gotta spend an extra $50,000 for lights. I ain't gonna do it. I can't put up a sign the size that I want because the sign ordinance says it's too big. Homer Glenn lost a Walgreens for 4 inches on a sign. I mean, these are things that we have to look at that maybe we can scale back and make it so we're more business friendly with regulations.
And don't disagree, and that could be a huge monumental thing. I think John might have, in his group, you know, maybe they've already done some characteristic studies to find out what kind of things have been impeding businesses from coming in here. That's a really good question. The other side of this is taking a look at, I think one thing that we had a discussion with the group is doing a study that actually looks at all the businesses in the area and what kind of feeder businesses they are, what kind of businesses they feed and what feeds them, to see about bringing stuff in. Because even with regulation, sometimes businesses will come here because it's the return on their investment is going to be good.
Right.
And so being able to identify those characteristics is important.
I don't want to get too far off the scope of what we're supposed to be doing here today, but a lot of what Steve is talking about is decided on the municipal level. If a municipality, you know, puts these impact fees on the schools, put impact fees on residential homes based on the number of bedrooms, etc., that has nothing to really do with the county nor the CED.
No, I'm not saying that.
Where you're going from.
I was talking about regulations more than that. You know, impact fees and
What we can control and what we can't control.
And we only control the unincorporated, so,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the cities do their.
But a lot of times those residential fees, $20,000 impact fee to build a house, a lot of it is made up with the school fees. There's
Yeah.
a lot of impact fees from the schools that some of them don't apply to, you know, depending on the municipality, they don't even apply to the commercial
Absolutely,
business.
but I'm just pointing out the total package is, it could be, in some cases, extremely high, where a business is teeter-tottering whether or not to come, and they weigh all these things, and they go, well, this costs this costs that. I can go over the border to a different section, and it's cheaper, and have the same relative closeness to why I want to be in Will County.
I think the CED, if they're doing their business job, they should have those kind of things identified so as we lose them. So, Steve, it's going to definitely be there for discussion, and this won't be the last time we have an opportunity to talk about it, for sure.
Yeah. Yes. And I just wanted to add, in March of 2014, Mr. Chairman, when this ad hoc committee was organized and you stepped up to the plate to be the chairman, it was because we felt there were some loopholes in our abatement program that need to be tightened up. We wanted to look at how we can improve this program. We also wanted to look at how we can help enhance business to Will County and not take them away. Because we heard a lot of, they'll come to Will County, but it looks better than Grundy County or Kendall County. Well, sometimes we couldn't compete. But we wanted to make sure that this ad hoc committee, we felt that there was no policing of our policy and etc. And we wanted to kind of take a close look at those things to see how we can enhance it, make it better, and or try to help stop business from defecting over in other counties. And some of the other counties have very attractive programs that we may not be able to beat. However, we can look at our abatement program, we can make it better, and we can see how we can address those issues.
Well, I think that's a great move to our next agenda item, which is an abatement for Juliuan Electric. I believe we have some folks here from Juliuan Electric. Anybody from the CED like to step up and bring your folks up and let's have a discussion. Would you mind rolling that chair back around? Oh, perfect. Thanks, Karen. Everybody wants to sit up at the front here in these lines, I guess. That's okay, I got the button to cut him off.
I'm going to talk twice as much.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure if everyone received the packet that we submitted to the executive's office. It has that material in front of them. But this is Mr. Ken Julian with Juliuan Electric. Their company is currently located headquartered in Westmont, correct? And
You might want to turn that.
Turn that mic on. See that
Button.
star?
Gold star.
There you go.
Now pull it down.
There you go.
There we go.
how's that?
That's much better.
Okay.
I couldn't hear you. First a little hard to hear you.
So this is Mr. Ken Julian, and I think he can tell you a little bit about the company, but just so you know, they're looking to locate in Lockport in the Heritage Crossing development. And do you want to fill in a little bit?
Yeah, I can give you the quick history of the company. Yeah, so we are currently headquartered in Westmont. We're a third generation, family held, privately held manufacturer of electrical parts for automotive and heavy truck and construction equipment manufacturers throughout the United States, Mexico, Europe, Australia. So we have 3 facilities in Westmont right now. We've kind of moved from Cook County back in the day in my grandfather's garage, your prototypical story of businesses that start in garages. But we've been in Westmont for about 40 years now, so we've grown 2 to 3 buildings in the Ty Warner Park area, if you know where Cass and Ogden Avenue are. We're pretty well tight in there now. We're landlocked. We've expanded as much as we can, in addition to just the inefficiencies of having 3 separate buildings making very similar parts and having people do similar things. We started a couple years ago looking at opportunities in various towns to go under one roof, including staying in Westmont, tearing down the buildings or repurposing them somehow. But we realized that wasn't an option, so we started looking farther out in various areas. Will County in this location has kind of risen to the top as of now. We're still in due diligence with ML, so nothing's official yet. But we have, part of the process was surveying our employees to kind of see, what would impact them where we went. We've been in the same location for a long time, so that was a big consideration. Being a manufacturer, we have a lot more employees versus a warehouse operation or distributor kind of thing. So we had a big parking requirement, versus some of the bigger shell type buildings that don't have a lot of personnel, don't have that same parking requirement. So that was another challenge that took us a while to kind of find that right piece of land for building. So it's been good to work with John Grueling and the CED team, and Lockport's been great as far as taking us down the path where we are right now. Number-wise, going back to the employees, we have currently 290 employees in Westmont, split up between 3 buildings. I think there'll be some questions about more specifics on that. Hopefully most of them will move with us. That's not probably realistic. We're moving a good 15 to 20 miles southwest. So, part of the thing was looking in the area where people are moving. We had many more people kind of migrating this direction already. Plainfield, Bolingbrook, I think we have a couple people from Lockport, a couple actually employees from Joliet. That also weighed into it. And we anticipate growing, so we're starting with 175,000 feet. I think Ben from Lockport might have a couple drawings that we can share. We can always email those, but with an expansion opportunity. So our submittal to Lockport includes an opportunity to expand. And we look at it as a generational, move. We don't build buildings very often, so hopefully this takes me to my retirement and maybe the next generation, whoever is running it at that point. So we take it seriously and, kind of consider everything, and working with Will County is one of those things to see what kind of, the abatement process, every little bit helps kind of push us one way or the other, right? So everyone's been great to work with.
Yeah, so the project does qualify for the 5-year 50% abatement under the program guidelines. And I don't think they can mention, but that's a $10 million investment in the building and $6 million in land.
Yeah. Right.
And then I understand that in your expansion, you plan on bringing more employees in and hiring more from the area?
Yeah, right. So the initial phase 1, we're calling it, already is about a 35% increase in square footage than what we have now in Westmont.
Mm-hmm.
So we're immediately moving in with extra capacity to grow. We anticipate moving in, if it was first quarter-ish next year, whatever it might be, with a similar employee count we have now, but we plan on, with projects already in the mix, to being well over 300 in 2017, so 20 to 30 new hires, not even bringing into account some we might have to replace, that might not move with us. But capacity-wise, well over 400 just in the initial phase 1, as far as, if we do a good job as salesmen and fill it up, right? And it could grow from there. So that was the other thing, making sure we have enough parking to allow for the expansion. But yeah, we'll be hiring 20 to 30 people, and the closer the better, and it's always a question of where will you hire. We prefer people to be nearby, and that's good for them and good for us. So hopefully we can expand. This area where we sit now is a little bit far from Westmont now, so this kind of the reason we like this location is very well centrally located. It's where the population is going. Still draw on Chicago if we had to.
You're right off the highway? Or?
Yeah, I-55 and 355.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the very northeast corner of Lockport, abuts Homer Glen actually. Where all the expansion's happening.
With all these little electronic parts and everything going on, what do you see your industry doing over the next 5-10 years?
So we make wire assemblies, cable assemblies, wire harnesses for heavy trucks, and so Freightliner, Navistar, Volvo Mack, and then you get into Crown forklifts, JLG construction equipment. So we're kind of construction related. We do some agricultural business too, companies like Caterpillar, John Deere. Ag had a tough year last year, so we were kind of mixed as far as industries go. So we kind of go as the OEMs go. And then obviously competition is always an issue too, but things are getting a little more technical, so our products evolve more on the type of material being used in the wire, that kind of thing. So companies, they're trying to get lighter, and so there's new products all the time. But in the end, it's still a cable assembly, wire harness. So things change in the chemical makeup of the assemblies. But so really, and the heavy truck manufacturers, automotive guys, they're contrary to what sometimes is reported, they are trying to push for buying more in the United States. They want us to supply their plants in the United States from the United States. We do have a plant in Mexico that only supplies their facilities in Mexico. And that works best for them and us. There's exceptions to that depending on the product and and we see that staying that way. They need support from the United States for communication purposes and whatnot. And we anticipate that staying that. That's why we're putting the money into this new headquarters, because we think it's at least a 30-40 year building for us.
And this is your national headquarters?
So this will be our headquarters. Yeah, we're headquartered in Westmont now. One of those 3 buildings functions as our headquarters. And we won't be having any operations there anymore. They'll all be consolidated into this one single building.
I'm going to take an opportunity to ask a question that's kind of semi-related, but not really. Feeder companies for you, where you're getting your supplies to you, is that impacting your decision? And or one of the, as you've heard us having an earlier conversation, we want to do some studies here in the county to be able to see if a company like yours comes to Will County, how we can also then take and attract those companies that support your industry with whatever kind of support that you need in the way of supplies, et cetera.
Sure. Our biggest cost is bulk cable and wire, which primarily is made in Indiana and Ohio. As far as the product that we buy. So that wasn't a big concern. I mean, that's the biggest, heaviest thing that we buy, and most expensive, copper. Other components are also in the area already. Terminal manufacturers, connector manufacturers, a lot of through distribution. So, it could impact maybe a location of a distributor that we might use versus where we were before.
Circuit boards, are they involved?
Yeah, we don't do a lot of actual electronics, but there's always that opportunity. There's companies that specialize in that. That's not really our niche, but there's definitely that potential though, because we do like vendors to be close by as much as possible. And a lot of them are kind of already relatively close by. They're in kind of, we'll actually be a little closer to them, to some of them in this new location.
Okay,
So
great. I'm going to open it up to questions.
I just want to expand on what I think you were asking, and that is not only suppliers, but how much of
You want to hit your button there, Jim? And I
but
can do one
in your decision-making process, where does logistics come into play? Obviously, it could be a major cost for any manufacturer. So when you're looking at locations, how much of the logistic decision plays a role?
yeah, for us, it was more of a access from logistics issue. In our current location, it's pretty congested. We're surrounded by car dealers now. We were the first ones there, but priorities change in the village up there. So that was a big deal. Good access for trucks. We don't have huge truck traffic versus a warehouse operation. Just materials getting into us. So access was a big deal. Given our biggest spend is in Indiana and Ohio, moving from Westmont to this area wasn't a big hit as far as logistics goes, cost-wise. So really, it was more of the access thing and designing proper building for the best flow of that material. If that answers your question. Yes.
Well,
it wasn't huge, but if we wouldn't be looking to move to Colorado or California because that would be,
Well, access is logistics.
It is, right. But
So-
cost-wise, more tangible cost-wise, wasn't as easy.
Okay. Steve, is your button? There you go. Jim, can I have you undo? Thank you.
Now, this is in my district, and I know that just with that many employees, just think of the boom that'll be to the local businesses. The restaurants, the local grocery stores, the gas stations, and you go on and on. But, I really want to see it come in.
Do we have anybody from Lockport here?
Yes, sir.
Who would like to join us? One of the things that we have put in our policy is that we want to make sure that the local municipality is in support of tax abatement, and that after that happens, then we will give consideration. So, and Mike, I did see your hand. I'll get to you in a second.
Elizabeth's asking.
Okay.
Great.
So,
Yes.
can you kill that mic and open that one up so we can get it? There you go. Perfect. Nope, you're good.
Oh, we're good. Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Yes, City.
Just say your name for the.
Sure. Ben Benson, City Administrator, City of Lockport. We have been working with Juliuan Electric for several months now with the ML Business Park and Heritage Business Park. We've really kind of reached out to many governing bodies and other districts in the area to try to find more ways to incentivize Julian to move here. We've done a very similar proposal that I believe was before you today as well, where we're abating the real estate taxes for the local municipality for 50% for 5 years on the building. I think that's the same proposal that they're asking the county for. I've reached out to the fire district, the park district. The challenge there was when NL came in, they already paid those impact fees, many years ago when that site came in. So really, the burden of the opportunity to incentivize them is really going to fall on either the county and or the city. The city did approve at the committee of the whole about 2 weeks ago, a 9-0 to approve the abatement. That will be finalized at the next meeting in June. And we're hopeful that you see the value in this as well. We're excited about the opportunity because this was a PUD that was approved for distribution. There's a lot of big buildings with a lot of trucks. This is an opportunity to have a lot more cars come into the area instead of trucks and provide a lot better jobs. Certainly a higher volume amount of jobs compared to what would be available in a distribution center. So,
well, and I think that kind of to that point, we for a long time on this board, since I've been on, have been trying to push the CED to really look for corporate headquarter kind of activities. And I think bringing that to the county is an important piece. You know, we have a number of them, but we have a lot more logistic activity in distribution centers. And that's good for one thing, but we'd like to see some of the higher paying jobs and the kind of things that local manufacturing can bring to the community. I have Ray, question?
Did you want to say something? She was waiting before me. Okay.
Your light's on.
Okay.
Well, I turned it off so they can have
the reality of
Thank
this.
you.
This to me is a no-brainer. Okay. For over a year, I've sat on this committee, and most of the time the CED, all they brought forward were more logistic companies transferring from Will County to Will County, threatening to leave, you know, and those are not the type of businesses that I see that we should be jumping through hoops for versus ones that want to relocate to the county, bring a different type of business to the county. And I think this is a very good business. I applaud you for considering Will County, and I applaud the village of Lockport, city of Lockport, for doing what they can do to help them, and I would be in favor of supporting them.
Thank you. Good.
I have a comment and a question. My comment is,
But-
all right, I
There you
don't
go.
know who's responsible for the information that we received, but it was so thorough and complete. I mean, you really definitely got a great idea of what the business was about, so I thought that was
Thank
outstanding.
you, CED.
Yeah, it's terrific. I was wondering, my question is for you as a business owner. We want to be pro-business here in Will County, and how did you find the abatement application and process as a business owner?
I found it pretty clean. I mean, John Grueling from the beginning was pretty clear about what was possible, what wasn't possible, and what kind of information was needed and when. So I didn't really have an issue with it. You know, we had the application was relatively clear and reasonable questions, and you know, so. And John was very accessible, along with other people from Lockport, helping decide what information was needed to help, you know, communicate exactly who we were and kind of what we just said.
So that wouldn't be one of the barriers.
Not for me. I mean, we haven't done this a lot, you know, we move once every 40 years, so. You know.
So you got time to get it done, huh?
Yeah.
That's specifically what I was wondering, if the information that you had to provide was, you know, was considered realistic as a business owner, and if you felt like the timeframes were realistic, so that's nice to hear.
Yeah, I thought so.
And was it dad or grandpa start this?
My grandfather started it.
With International Harvester probably being one of his first
One of them,
customers?
Barbara Green, Elgin Sweeper.
Okay.
Barbara Green was a paving company in DeKalb that ended up being bought by CAT. It's not there anymore.
Okay.
Elgin Sweeper's still a customer, one of the first customers we had. So actually, first customer was a Chicago incinerator. Believe it or not, and we made an instrument panel to control the incinerator operation. So,
Oh, that's fun.
yeah.
Good history with your family company, I'm sure. Mike?
Yeah, I just wanted to, you've all made these points, but I wanted to sum up, it's also in my district as well. There's 4 things, and these are the 4 things we want. We want somebody coming from some outside of Will, we want headquarters, we want manufacturing jobs, and we want more jobs. They got all of those. This is the first one we've had since I've been here that have all 4 of those points. That's why I think this is a no-brainer.
If I could just make one other comment. Sure. It's been a pleasure working with them. They've been already kind of proven to be a good neighbor or intend to be a good neighbor. We've had some preliminary meetings and some public showed up, and they're going to spend some extra money in how they're berming and protecting the building from the neighborhood behind them. And this is a unique opportunity where we're getting rid of some smaller footprints to put a larger footprint in that has the ability to get even bigger And so we wanted to make sure that the impact they have into the community is well received, and they've done a nice job to respond to that. So,
Well, the fact that if we can keep him here at least another 40 years, I think we'll all be retired by then. At least most of us here. Well, we're all born to die, Steve, so good luck out there. All right, any other questions? Jim?
This is really more Lockport. One of the issues I think we've had, or one of the difficulties we've had, is abatements coming to us, and then, and I know this isn't the case with Lockport, but then even the municipality not supporting the abatement. Why did we support the abatement? Our philosophy here at Will County was really that we would be supporting the municipality requesting the abatement, not necessarily the CD coming here and requesting it, but it would be the municipality that would be asking us to participate. And I know you're very supportive of this, but I would still like to hear from Lockport requesting to Will County that whether it's done formally or it's a letter that goes along with the CD packet, that you're requesting Will County to participate in the abatement, I think goes a long way in the overall process. And I think it's something we are going to ask municipalities to do going forward. You're just going to be the first.
Sure, I think it's a good idea, and I see you writing frantically over there for future references. All cities will initiate a letter. All right. Policy is enacted.
Certainly echo those comments and appreciate that, and we'd be happy to put a support letter together directly to the county.
And not only support, this is brought in more from the CED, also contained in the request to be that they are participating in the abatement. Believe it or not, we've had municipalities ask us to participate, then they don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
which is why we wait until you guys vote on it before we even hear it.
Yeah. So we know you're participating, but if you request us to also participate, I think that's helpful in the process. Thanks.
Okay.
Can I make just one quick comment, just for the board members, because I know not everybody attends all the committees. This project, ML Realty, is along 143rd Street and 355. And in Public Works and some of the other committees, we've been working with Lockport, very cooperative with the mayor and Ben and City Council. The county's been making improvements on 143rd. We're very close, I think, to turning on a light at 143rd in Gallagher, which is a safety issue, and it allows ML to build out a number of other properties that they have platted there. Okay. So this is success in itself, but it's also, hopefully, we're going to see more of these developments within that property. And it's been done well, county, municipal, and other cooperation. So I think, just so you know, something we're doing is helping spur this along too. So.
All right, very good. Okay, I need a motion.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you all very much. We really appreciate it. I have no other new business. Any public comment? Any public comment? No report, no executive session. Meeting. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? No. Okay.